Okay guys, I'm just going to show you how I installed the side strip. Okay, so here's the new weather stripping in, and as you can see I was able to bring it right down where it needs to be. And now the way I installed this, notice here how it's folded in. See how it's folded in? See how you can push that in? Okay. Now when you do that, oh, by the way, you want to slide your slide out in. Mine's in about 6 inches or so. And what that does is it creates a space. Hopefully you can see that back there. See that? See my hand? See that space? That makes it easier to get this so it's facing the lip. Because right up here at the top, this is the lip where this right here is going to pop up in there. So when I put the top on, I will do the same thing. I will push the wiper portion in a little bit. That gives me space, because what you want to do, because as I showed you, this thing is like a V, right? So one side is sliding under here, and this is sliding here. And if you're not careful, you can think you've got it, and what will happen is it'll actually be maybe partially right, and then you'll have a section where it's sitting on the outside. So I don't know if you can hear this or not, but see there's a little lip on both sides. Okay, little lip. So when you shove this on, you should feel a nice firm kind of snap. You might even hear it. Okay, and then just check, make sure, you know, at the top here you can reach around back with your finger and you can feel to make sure that that rubber is where it needs to be. Once you get it started about 6 inches or so, it's cake. Again, make sure you tuck this under and shove it up. See how that moved a little bit? You want to make sure again that that rubber is up underneath, so that way you get a double seal here at the joint. Okay, because a lot of times that's where people will get leaks. This either weathers and starts to pull apart, or the screw comes out, and then water will find its way in, and the next thing you know, you've got problems. And as most of you know, if you see water stains, you're already in trouble, particularly on the inside. So again, what you do when you're done is pretty easy. Just reach up here and just take your fingers and just gently, you know, some people say, oh, use screwdrivers or something like that. This you don't want to poke a hole in this stuff. All right, so unless you got really sharp nails, you're not going to hurt it. But you start messing around with picks or screwdrivers, you can poke a hole in this. And now just imagine a hole right here, or a crack right here. So take your time. If a dummy like me can do it, you guys can do it. Okay, so oh, and like here, don't worry about this. Okay, you're not going to get water. This thing also has it's pretty deep, and it's got a track back there, so any little bit of water that might blow in right there is not going to be a problem. Okay, and this stuff will kind of form itself. See how it's already, I just pushed it a little bit. Okay, so don't worry about that, eh? Then if you have any extra on the bottom, which we don't, then you can just take a pair of really good scissors, or you know, something that will, you know, it's not thick metal, so, and then just trim it off, eh? Okay, now right up here, I'm going to take this off. And you can see it's a little difficult to get off. Okay, I'm going to take it off. Sorry about that, I'm using my iPhone. And you're going to peel it back till you see the hole. See the hole? Okay, so hang on a second. I'm going to get my pick. Okay. Now, this is what I use. See if I can get it here for you. Just a little punch. This is the only time that I use this on the rubber. I never use it to, like, you know, peel it back or anything like that, because like I said, all you do is slip, poke a hole, and you might as well call it a day. Okay, I'm gonna locate the hole, and then I'm gonna punch through the rubber. Okay, so I'm gonna put you on hold here. Okay, pretty simple. All right, so I'll get the screw and reinstall. Be back in a minute. Okay, all right, so here we are with the finished product. Now, on these screws, you don't want to over tighten these guys, okay? This one I've dimpled a little bit already, so I may back that off just a smidge. So, you know, I know how most guys are. We all have a tendency to kind of really want to snug stuff up. But you do have to be a little bit conservative here, eh? Because you don't want to distort the rubber. Because again, there's an opportunity for water to get right in where that little dimple is. See how that little dimple? So, I'm just going to take my screwdriver here and back it off, let it straighten up. Okay, I don't think you can see that in the camera, but it actually did. And then what I'm going to do is just gently bring it back down. And you don't want to do this with a power tool, okay guys? Okay, so that's pretty much it for the side. And so just as a recap, just remember there's that top screw in the top on the interior. And I would recommend that you slide in about 6 to 10 inches. Give yourself room for your screwdriver and yourself, you know, to get that screw. And then you can just leave it like that, and then come out and take off your exterior screws. Make sure you put those in a safe spot, because they're tiny. And peel it off, and then pop the new one on. Start at the interior at the top. Make sure it's all the way up, and then you know, tighten it up, come outside and snap it in place. Once you're comfortable that you have a good secure seal, then put your bottom screw in. And like I said, I use a punch to help me find the holes. I just kind of peel it back, locate the hole, use the punch to find it, stick the punch in, and I leave it in there until I'm ready to put the screw in. So I can just pull the punch out, stick the screw in. And anyway, enough said about that. So I'm going to pop up on the top. Okay, you can see how I cleaned this up. I cleaned underneath when I had the slide completely out. That's when I pulled this old one off. That gave me an opportunity to clean along the slide and get all the debris and stuff like that. Okay guys, well, here we are up in the corner here. You can see the hole there. So again, right here you have this flap, right? So what you're going to do is kind of come back here, and again, see how this is grooved? See the groove right there? And then you can see, hopefully that's where it snaps up in here. So let's just take it and get it started. And sometimes getting it started, that's the hardest part. I usually try to get a little bit like so, and then get it up in here, push it up. And it's going to be a little tight right there because, you know, you're doubling up your okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing there. I'm doing this all with an iPhone. I can't afford those GoPros or those things just strapped to your head. They're just a little out of my reach right now. Anyway, so you make do with what you have, right? Okay, so I got a little gap right here, and it's not quite all the way up yet. So I'm gonna do a little maneuvering here and see if I can get that to go up and over. And it can be a little, like I said in the beginning, There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, now I do use this just to take a peek, but I'm very careful. Okay, there's my hole. Okay, so I'm still not quite happy with that. There we go, that's better. Okay, now I'm gonna push up on this and do my best to locate that hole. Usually you can kind of feel where they're at. Now I'm a little above it, but I'm pretty close. Okay, there it is. All right. Now, if I got lucky, my screw is still up here. Okay, we're back. All right. I was looking for that little bad boy. That comes out pretty easy, so that's one of the drawbacks to this. All right, so that being said, oops. It's magnetic, but sometimes these painted heads don't help. And there again, don't over tighten. See how it starts to crimp a little bit? Just a little bit is okay. Just make sure that everything is back. All right? So, all right. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to just go all the way down, and I'm going to show you here. Let me turn it. Now, one of the things you want to be careful of with your slide outs, and I learned this quite by mistake. Some of the newer slide outs that have the different gearing, you know, obviously when you slide them out, you're supposed to hold the button for like 4 or 5 seconds, or maybe when you slide them in, you're supposed to hold them 4 or 5 seconds, because the new slide out mechanisms, they calibrate. Mine is the older style with the traveling tube and the gears, and but you can mess it up, and the way you can mess it up is if you have it partially slid like I do now, and you either stand on it inside or outside, you know, moving around, you can throw it off, and then all of a sudden your slide is not sliding in and out evenly, and you can really do some serious expensive damage. So that being said, you have two options. You can either install this gasket with your slide completely out. Obviously you can't do it with it completely in. So you can do it completely out, or if you want to have a little working room, then what you do is you do like I did here in the corner. You start off a ladder, and then as you know, reach out here and you can't reach any further, then get up on your roof, get you something like a moving blanket or something to throw up there for your knees and everything. So just be aware of those little things, otherwise you're really going to do some serious damage. All right, well, that's it for this, and I want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, hit the subscribe. If you want to know when I'm doing another one, hit the bell.